they fucked it up. How's it going, everybody? FearTheBeardo here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Part 1 and Part 2 review of Obi Wan Kenobi. If we can even call it that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. No need for a spoiler-free discussion. I'm just going to jump into everything that's happened and not waste any time. So, Kenobi goes full bait and switch on every single aspect that this show could. Let's start off with some of the positives. There's this one scene in the very beginning of the TV show, the opening scene. It opens up on Coruscant in the Jedi Temple during the middle of Order 66. We get a small, very small, and the only real lightsaber fight scene by strong female trainer who is training her batch of younglings. And one of the cool things was that we get a look at live action practical clone trooper suits in the prequels in episode 2 and episode 3. I believe every single clone trooper was CGI'd and the armor was CGI'd in. There was some practical clone trooper suits, which I hadn't personally seen before, so that was kind of like a nice touch, seeing that practical effects with the clone trooper suits. That's about it that I can think of that I thought was kind of interesting that this show did. This show doesn't really do anything interesting. There's a problem, and there was a problem, and they did this sort of with Luke Skywalker's lightsaber in the season finale of Mandalorian Season 2. Disney Star Wars, they use like the Force FX master replicas or whatever they're called now, whatever they use, the real kind of light up lightsabers that are for like cosplaying and stuff. They use those lightsabers on set and will digitally enhance it and do the actual programming to make it look like a real lightsaber in post-production. But there's frames that they've missed. They missed it in that opening Order 66 fight with the female Jedi Master, I suppose. When she's fighting, they miss a few frames of the editing where you can clearly tell that she's swinging around a fucking toy. And they did it sort of there was one scene in the Mandalorian Season 2. I'm not sure if they fixed it yet with Luke Skywalker. They did the same thing. They missed the editing on his lightsaber. And that's just poor attention to detail is the only thing that I could narrow it down to. This show bait and switches everything that you thought you were going to get. Remember that trailer? The first trailer when they played Duel of the Fates and had every single Star Wars tune that you can fucking think of. Binary Sunset, The Imperial March, Duel of the Fates. Not here. Not a single Star Wars piece that John Williams himself wrote, from what I believe, that was used in previous movies. None of that here. This is all original music for this show, and none of it sounds like Star Wars. Some of it, honestly, the theme sounds like it came from the Spider-Man PS5 game or Spider-Man PS4 game. Some of the tunes doesn't feel like Star Wars in the slightest. And of course, a lot of people guessed it. There were leaks. Obi-Wan, it's really depressing to say this, man. Obi-Wan is a shell of himself. Obi-Wan is scared to use the Force. It's almost like Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi, but reskinned as Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's ditched the Jedi. He's ditched the Force. He doesn't use the Force. There's a part in Part 2 where they lead you to believe that it's the first time he's actually used the Force for anything, and they say it's 10 years' time has gone on since Revenge of the Sith. Reva, which is the African-American female Inquisitor, who is just good, the bestest, evilest Inquisitor ever, who can't take any instructions from any man because that would go against the message. So, she's just awesome. It doesn't explain why. She's just good and badass and can jump around because reasons that the show doesn't give to you. Just because she's sassy, she's badass, she doesn't take any instructions from anybody, that she only does what she wants to do. There's this one real cringe part in part 2, the whole building rooftop sequence where Obi-Wan is chasing Leia. That's another thing. And we're just going to be going all around, just, fucking firing off, brainstorming here. Fuck Luke Skywalker, pretty much, is what Disney is. Just put the nail in that coffin. We know that they want Luke Skywalker to fucking end. They don't want to deal with Luke Skywalker anymore because, of course, he's a strong white male character, and Disney can't have any of that. So they lead you to believe. I'm looking at IMDb right now. There is not a single clue, no post, for the young actress who plays young Leia Organa. They have Grant Freely here, who is the young Luke Skywalker, who was just shown for maybe 2 seconds of riding on that doorway entryway in the moisture farm on Tatooine. That's it. This show is now the Reva and Leia Organa show. Leia Organa. So we're introduced to young Leia Organa on Alderaan. By the way, they do a good job of lining up and making sure that Alderaan looks similar to how it looked in the end of episode 3. The original actor who plays Bail Organa, he does come back to play Bail Organa in this show. But I kind of feel bad. I'm not sure what this actor has been doing. If he's had other gigs, I can do some research and look it up. But he's very stiff, almost like he has back problems in real life. I'm not sure what's happened to this man. It is a shame. Back problems are no joke, but him too was almost kind of a shell of himself. Just very stiff, kind of like he didn't want to be there. But anyways, so there's this whole celebration. The family's coming in town on Alderaan. Leia's cousins and other cousins. There's like 5 or 6 of, her relatives that are near her age, not her brother or sister, just cousins coming in to visit. They're going to do a parade and everything like that. Shortly after this celebration, or your introduction to Leia is her skipping out on her dress fitting because she's outside getting dirty and playing in the mud and running and climbing trees and smashing those gender norms. So her mom goes out there and finds her in the woods, tells her to get the fuck down from the tree, and we're going to go to this parade and you're going to hang out with your cousins, right? One of her male cousins, who's a little bit older, starts to give her, disrespect her a little bit. Tell her that she's adopted. She's not a real Organa. She's not a real princess. And of course, this little 9-10-year-old girl who looks like she's 6 just has the wits of a 30-year-old, like she's been and done life and then an adult brain was put into this little girl's body. Because some of the stuff she says, the vocabulary that she uses, not a normal 9 or 10-year-old would be talking like this. These lines were clearly, it was just out of place. So Leia Organa gives her older cousin, that sass and disrespect right back. And then her dad lectures her and everything like that and tells her to go on and have fun and go play with your cousins again. Which she doesn't. She wants to go run in the woods again and smash those gender norms. This is one of the most cringe parts of the entire show so far. So she goes out into the woods and there's these spy, bounty hunter, smuggler people, whatever. Bad guys. There's 3 of them. And they stop her in the woods and they're like, pretty much just say, oh yeah, little girl, we're here to steal you. We're here to kidnap you. So then she starts running. And then these full-grown adults, you can just tell they're just like jogging, power walking, and acting as if this 10-year-old girl is outrunning them and out sprinting them, and she's way more athletic and faster than these full-grown adults because she's the best. And it is so bad and so hard to watch. These adults just trip on tree roots and run into tree branches and just skipping around and going unorthodox ways, not the quickest way that, to grab her. No, it is just so fucking cringe. That forest chase sequence was so bad, I almost had to turn it off right there and just say, you know what? Fuck it. This is exactly what we've been warned about. I kind of, not good. Very, very cringe. Reva. I don't know if this actress has been in anything else. If she has been, I couldn't fucking tell. Some of the most cringe, bad acting I have ever seen in any piece of entertainment as of recent. And I don't know if it's the actress's fault, if it's the writing, or both, but she, unfortunately, was fucking terrible. Every line of dialogue that she delivered was horrible. Cringe beyond belief. It was like the original Resident Evil from the 1990s, that kind of voice acting. Just bad, surface level, reading off a script, almost like she didn't memorize her lines and just looked at the script about 2 minutes before they called action and started filming. It was that bad. And here's another thing. We're in Star Wars. This fiction and world building has been developed. People talk and speak a certain way. Aliens speak their language, and then the human-like humans, right? They speak a certain way too. And it's not like this chick is the first black chick ever to be in Star Wars. We had Samuel L. Jackson himself play Master Mace Windu, and even he turned off his ghetto voice for a more stoic, grounded, serious voice.
Country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yes!
We just received word that Obi Wan has destroyed General Grievous. We're on our way to make sure the Chancellor returns emergency power back to the Senate.
This lady spoke with... It's almost like she couldn't help herself speak with a real-world ghetto accent. It was terrible. It didn't feel like Star Wars. Her acting was beyond cringe, and it was just fucking awful. And it ruined, I don't know if I'm going to finish the rest of this series, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that we can hope that I noticed is that most of the footage that we got in the trailers looked to me like it was from these first two episodes, or parts, part 1 and part 2. Looked like most of the footage that we were given in these trailers were from part 1 and part 2 of the show. Oh, by the way, the Grand Inquisitor, a few things. There was a lot of backlash on his look from the first 2 trailers. They didn't give him like his glowing yellow and red eyes in the trailers. Well, it kind of looks like they might have touched that up right before this show came out. In the beginning Tatooine sequence, it still kind of looked bad, but later on, especially in the nighttime scenes, when they showed the Grand Inquisitor, he looked a lot better. You can tell they kind of might have touched up his face a little bit with some CGI. His head wasn't more elongated, maybe by the slightest, but they did put the ripples and the red stuff on his forehead a little bit more prominent, and the eyes looked a lot better than they did in the trailer. But it didn't really fucking matter, because in part 2, he fucking dies. To guess who? To Reva, the baddest, awesomest, evil Inquisitor ever. Because reasons. He's fucking dead. And there was a report, I think a week ago, or an interview, where he said that he specifically, the actor, I believe his name is Rupert Friend. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but that's the way it's spelled. The actor Rupert Friend, who plays the Grand Inquisitor in the Obi Wan Kenobi series on Disney+, said that he specifically did not watch the Clone Wars to study for his role as the Grand Inquisitor because he wanted it to be an original take, which is an L take, if you ask me. Why would you not study the source material to better line up in canon and continuity and make the connection between animated to live action feel organic? But it didn't really fucking matter because he had about 6 minutes of screen time between the first part and the second part, and he fucking dies. Reva just fucking kills him. Another cringe part of this that didn't make any fucking sense. Apparently, nobody in the galaxy knows that Anakin Skywalker's alive. In part 1 and part 2, they're talking about Anakin being dead, but that's because it's a general rule of thumb. Anakin Skywalker died and became Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker, the person, the personality, the character, is dead because he is now Darth Vader. But no! That's been retconned. Nobody in the galaxy knows that Anakin is alive and Darth Vader. Apparently, 10 years have gone by. The Empire has run supreme for the past 10 years, from Revenge of the Sith to now. I guess nobody knew that Anakin survived and is Darth Vader. Nobody knows who Darth Vader is. What the fuck, show? What the fuck? You're going to tell me that 10 years have gone by of the Emperor and the Empire ruling the galaxy, reigning supreme, and nobody, not a single fucking individual, has seen Darth Vader, heard Darth Vader, rumors of Darth Vader, nothing? Because the one real shocker that they wanted you to see, that Obi-Wan, at the very end, Reva is saying, I'm going to turn you into him myself, because she wants to, climb up the ladder and be a bigger Inquisitor or whatever. And she goes, oh, I can feel it. You didn't know. You didn't know. He's still alive. Anakin Skywalker's still alive. And Obi-Wan is shocked. He's about to faint. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck? What the fuck? Wasn't that the whole point in episode 3 when Obi-Wan left him there on Mustafar, that he knew he didn't necessarily leave him there to die or not to die, but he didn't kill him. Obi-Wan could easily killed him himself. He left him there on the lava beach in Mustafar with the possibility that he can get rescued by Palpatine, who Obi-Wan is smart enough to know that Palpatine would probably come get him, probably come try to save him by some means. Why is it that 10 years later, it's such a fucking shock that he's alive? The only group of people that would think that this is a good idea are the people running fucking Lucasfilm and Disney right now. They're out of touch, lost. Where are the lore experts? I thought Dave Filoni was supposed to be a lore expert. What the fuck is going on? This is not a shock. This is not a shock factor to fans, to Star Wars fans. Maybe if you're a Disney MCU normie and you have Disney Plus and you're like, oh, I'll give the new Kenobi show a shot. Maybe those kind of people that are just not in touch with the lore of Star Wars, maybe then it's a shock. But even then, you know that hardcore fans are going to at least try this show, even after you've fucking done them wrong with 3 shitty fucking movies and a few shitty TV shows. At this point, you know that the hardcore fans are going to have their eye out for this kind of bullshit. Because we've been done wrong and tricked so many fucking times over the past 7 years. So we're going to have our eyes out for bullshit, which this show is filled with bullshit. There's a part, so when Princess Leia gets captured in the forest, Obi-Wan, Bail Organa, calls Obi-Wan and goes to Tatooine to recruit Obi-Wan to come out of retirement, and Obi-Wan is just scared, tells someone else to go do it. I'm done. My responsibility is to the boy. Well, fuck the boy, Disney says, and the story and the plot says. Go save Princess Leia, who's been captured, and she's taken to this I don't know, rainy city planet. I forget what it was called. There's so many more cringe moments to come in this whole part right here. So Obi-Wan goes and saves her. She was in some fucking storage unit or whatever, and he goes to get her. She doesn't believe him for 1 second from the moment that he comes. Oh, maybe a little bit. And it's not like he doesn't take the time. Like, why doesn't he show her the transponder where that Bail Organa and Leia's mom originally sent to Obi-Wan? Why doesn't he just pull it out and see, here, look at this message that I got from your dad? Like, obviously, I'm here to fucking save you. But she was expecting an army. She goes, I'm so special and popular, and I'm a princess that my daddy would send an entire army to come save me. But you're just one person, so why should I trust you? I wanted an army. And it's like, all right, fucking show. Okay. But like, there's so many, like, Obi-Wan could have easily just settled that and said, here, look at this message from your dad. That's why I'm here. I worked with your dad in the Clone Wars, and, fucking trust me, you little brat. Like, but all he says was, I'm the one that broke you out of here. Like you might as well just trust me. Like, you're not going to be here in the storage unit anymore. I'm breaking you out, so you might as well trust me. And then she's kind of just hesitantly, like, following him a little bit. And then later, she sees that all the bounty hunters on this planet are looking for Obi-Wan because Reva, strong female bad character. And I say bad kid, well, it's actually funny because, one, she's a bad guy, but two, it's a shit character. She puts out the bounty on Obi-Wan's head on this planet. So all the bounty hunters are getting their transponder, that they're getting the message that there's a bounty and that the Jedi is here. Obi-Wan is on this planet. So they're all looking for him. He knocks this one bounty hunter out. His transponder's going off. It shows Obi-Wan's face. She goes, they're after you. I was kidnapped because they wanted you. Which, again, a 9-year-old fucking girl or a boy, doesn't matter, but a 9-year-old girl is not going to piece this together and be that smart to say, oh, well, I was kidnapped because they really wanted to get the end result to get to you. Absolutely fucking not. Nobody buys that shit. The only people that buy that shit and think that was a good idea are the dumbasses at fucking Lucasfilm. So anyways, here we get our another Leia chase scene where she's just running and she's fearless and she's just running away from Obi-Wan and just bobbing and weaving through all these people and rooftops and shit, jumping across fucking rooftops to the next fucking building. Just stupid shit. Obi-Wan does not use his lightsaber in all of the first two parts. And let's remember, the first episode was 50 minutes with like 6 minutes of credits. And the second episode was like 45 minutes with 6 minutes of credits. So an hour and a half in, or an hour and 20 minutes into this series, not a single lightsaber fight that involved Obi Wan Kenobi. There wasn't a single lightsaber fight in this entire show besides the one flashback to Order 66 where you have the Jedi Master fighting off clone troopers. But that's about it. You get several red lightsaber ignitions from strong female character and from the Grand Inquisitor. You get several red lightsaber ignitions, 0 lightsaber fights at all. Obi-Wan is subject to only using his blaster, so he's just always using his blaster because using a lightsaber would cause a distraction and let people know that there's a Jedi here. Okay, but not if you fucking kill him. Not if you fucking pull out your lightsaber and fucking whack him. Who are they gonna tell? There were several moments where they're in isolation with the Inquisitors, where he could have easily pulled out his lightsaber and fucking just ended it right there. Like, he's Obi Wan Kenobi. Like, 10 years have gone by, but they're acting like it's been 20. Like, he hasn't used the Force for like 20 fucking years. So they're running on the rooftops. Leia doesn't trust Obi-Wan. She keeps telling him he's like fighting, defending her while she's just on this rooftop to, deciding whether she's going to commit suicide or not, pretty much, because this one ledge is way more further than the other ledges that she jumped across. So she jumps, misses it, hangs on to a fucking clothing line, and here you have Obi-Wan who's like struggling to use the Force to lift like a 70-pound 9-year-old or 10-year-old. Struggling. He's like on the edge of the building, like trying his hardest to just focus to like, and at the very last second before she goes splat on the ground, he fucking grabs her and then just drops her back on the ground lightly. It's like, what? It's like almost like their intention Or I mean, we saw with Luke Skywalker in the fan fiction Disney movies what they did to him. They're completely on board with destroying established characters that we grew up with, that we love, that we know are good warriors, good men, good characters that are flawed and have loss but have overcome loss, characters that have a whole entire arc. Now Disney's like, no, but this is our turn with the characters, and we're going to use your characters that you like for our message that we want to send. So they're just completely destroying and taking back years of character development to push their message. And what they did to Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi, what they fucking are doing to Obi-Wan right now in his own show. This isn't what we were led to believe. We were gonna have kid Luke Skywalker, Obi Wan Kenobi, and Darth Vader. And it's turned into Princess Leia is the most important part, and Reva the Inquisitor is just she's the main character, man. That whole bit of her on the roof, Reva jumping on the roof, knocking things down, jumping over, doing flips, sliding down, fucking running on the fucking walls and bouncing from wall to wall to wall to get down and shit like that. And it was like there was just no reason for it. It was only almost to show, it's like, oh, look at her. She can jump and flip. Oh, look at her. She's so strong and independent. And wow, she disrespects the Grand Inquisitor. She must be really brave and tough. And it's just so fucking cringe. I'm trying to think of anything else that's positive, but it was all almost shit. The music sounded like it was from fucking Harry Potter or from like the Spider-Man video game. Not one bit of the score sounded like Star Wars. And they didn't do a binary sunset. They didn't do the Imperial March. They showed Darth Vader at the end of part 2 for like 5 seconds in his fucking chamber, like his full water chamber. He's getting a full body bath and he's got his fucking mask on. They didn't do the Imperial March. They didn't do a dark side theme. They didn't do anything. None of the music was Star Wars. None of it. They teased Duel of the Fates. Don't hear it. They teased Binary Sunset. Not in there. They didn't do any type of Skywalker theme or Jedi theme. Nothing. This is all just regular, generic string music is all it is. Nothing sounded like Star Wars. And there was also very little attention to detail when it came to Obi-Wan's job, his day job. Obi-Wan has a day job, and it's to like cut space sushi. He like cuts and prepares space sushi, right, on this conveyor belt. They cut it and they send it down, and the next person cuts it a little bit differently, whatever. He's on this conveyor belt, this line, just cutting space sushi. And they show, it was like 3 days, they kind of like, they'll show his progress from working there and then going home and going back to his like little hut and what happens in between and stuff like that. But they don't take the time to like change certain things to give off the illusion that these are different days. You can tell they're all filmed on the same day, same hairstyle, same seat, and like on the train, because he takes a train to go back home from his work. And they want you to think that days have gone on, but when you go to watch that scene, it's like, this is the same exact fucking scene, same day. Like, oh, and there were two shots of the train going by, and then you see him, Obi-Wan, sitting in the train going home. And it's like, you're trying to tell me or lead me to believe that these are days apart, like, you know, consecutive working days, but it's like, it's the same shot. It's the same shot. He looks the same. Hair's the same. He's sitting next to the same people on the train each time. It's like you're telling me that every day everybody sits in the same exact spot next to the same person every day. Just uniform. Doesn't change. No, that's bullshit. And in the hairstyle, it's like it wasn't believable. The continuity wasn't there as far as making you believe that these were different days, when you can just clearly tell that all the shots that they used over the course of days were all filmed in one day. And then they just splice it up and they edit it to make it look like time is going on. And like, oh, this is a new day at work. But he looked exactly the same as the first day. And just, that's just lack of attention to detail. That's just not caring. Not giving a fuck, knowing or thinking, believing that this is Star Wars and that it's going to do well anyway. Well, clearly they haven't learned from their fucking mistakes because we're onto their shit. A lot of us, most of us, are onto their shit. And this Kenobi is the prime example of everything that's wrong with what Lucasfilm is doing to Star Wars. Very cringe. The Leia chases are cringe. Reva is cringe. Worst acting I have ever fucking seen in any type of media recently. Absolutely fucking terrible. It's all a shame, man. It's all a shame, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, the one last sliver of hope for this show is that from what I have seen is that everything from the trailers were taken from the part 1 and part 2. And I don't know, I can't remember if this is a 6-part series or an 8-part series, but I can only hope that maybe all of that woke bullshit was just for the first 2 parts. And they're going to do more Obi-Wan, cool Jedi fighting stuff in the last 4 episodes. But I have little to no hope for this show. Reva is extremely unlikable. Leia is almost very unlikable because she's just sassy, bratty. She runs away because she's incompetent and doesn't understand what Obi-Wan is doing. Obi-Wan doesn't take the time to really explain to her well what he's doing. And then all of a sudden, the next scene, she's like lecturing Obi-Wan. A lot of preachy stuff in this show. Reva's very preachy to the Grand Inquisitor and to other people. And Leia, little 10-year-old Leia, is preachy as fuck. Like, she is the most intelligent, and she lectures her dad. She lectures Obi-Wan. She lectures Obi-Wan hard. And he just sits there and he goes, you remind me a lot of somebody. You remind me a lot of this senator, this strong senator. And you're very brave and stuff like that. And it's like, he doesn't sit her down and say, no, listen here, you little fucking shit. You're a 10-year-old. I am a Jedi fucking master. Almost no positives. The practical clone trooper suits was like, I was like, oh, that's cool. Non-CGI clone troopers. I'm like, all right. And that was like in the first 2 minutes. Also, Obi-Wan has this like dream sequence where he's like laying on the ground in his hut and he's sleeping. And it shows flashbacks of the prequel movies in episode 2 and 3 and even episode 1 with little Anakin, Jake Lloyd, and, doing the whole pod racing stuff like that. Like, that flashback that he had in his dream was the only part in this show, the first 2 episodes, that actually felt like Star Wars. Was the flashback of the prequels. That was it. That felt like Star Wars. I'm like, oh, shit. And you know what it made me want to do? It made me want to go watch the prequels. It made me want to go watch Attack of the Clones. It made me want to go watch Revenge of the Sith. Because after I finished part 1 and part 2, I was disgusted. Absolutely disgusted. To the point where I was like, I need to watch real Star Wars. I need to watch real Star Wars. I can't watch this. I was going to say Jake Skywalker, but it's like Jake Kenobi, or it's wannabe fake fucking Obi Wan Kenobi. And I needed to go. I was so disgusted. I needed to go watch like real Obi Wan Kenobi. I needed to watch Ewan McGregor play real Obi Wan Kenobi in episode 2 and in episode 3. Because this bullshit was not fucking Obi Wan Kenobi. This was Leia, Reva, fuck Luke Skywalker, fuck Obi Wan Kenobi. Give me your money is what it was. It was disgusting, cringe, very cringe. The best acting in the show, even though Ewan McGregor did the best of what he was given. The guy who played Uncle Owen, I have it right here, Joel Edgerton, he did well. He had a few lines of dialogue in part 1 where he's talking to Obi-Wan. And he did well. His acting was believable. He's a good actor. His acting was very believable in his dialogue with Obi-Wan. Both of them worked well together. But that was about it. The rest of the acting was fucking awful. not enjoyable, didn't feel like Star Wars, very cringe. So we'll see. The bait and switch is in, the bait and switch with the music, the bait and switch with Luke Skywalker, the bait and switch with Obi-Wan, the bait and switch with the Inquisitor Reva. So anyways, that's just my take. Hey, if you enjoyed this show, all the power to you. You probably like a lot of stuff Disney and Marvel and Lucasfilm put out. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, if you agreed with some of my takes, leave it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Share this video with a friend who you think would enjoy it. Subscribe to this channel if you're new. And we'll talk to you again soon.